Well. Is this? Yeah, okay. I can tell if my entire my entire monitor was in the on screen or not. Well. Hello, it is I, SolarLune. It's been a fair few months since the last time I streamed. So hello, indeed, hello, and how is everyone doing today? Doing something a little different in addition to streaming. I'm streaming in the evening now, right now, but I'll probably stay in the evening. That might be good. But yeah, everything's going well. Yeah, so how's everyone doing? So, what I thought I would be doing in this stream is basically talking about what I've been doing, where I am with development and stuff. Um, the last time I was on stream, I was working on a game of some description. I don't remember what it was. And the other one was Master Plan. So I was working on Master Plan, and I was working on. I don't think I was working on I Know Who I Am on stream. Was I? No, I don't remember. Anyway, but here's what was going on. So in the time between like 3 months ago and today, uh I've tried to start different projects using Tetra 3D, which is the 3D renderer that I've been working on, and I haven't been able to finish those projects, but in the meantime, I have been like working on Tetra 3D. So I just actually put out a new version of Tetra 3D, version 0.10, and that adds a lot of new features. And even before that, I released, I think, a couple of new additions or new features, new versions rather, before I even in between when I stopped streaming and then. So anyway, Tetra 3D is continuing to get better. I'm optimizing it more. I'm adding new features. So we'll just go down the list a little bit here. This is a particle system, so I added particle effects, so you can see. Hopefully it'll come up nice and smooth on camera. But I added a basic particle system so you can do things like rings and fire and field particles like this, which is very nice, very useful. I added a batching system. So in this example, these particles are all rendered basically using a single material. So basically, and this is useful. This is very nice because in the process of making this renderer, I myself am learning a lot about what things are and what takes time, all that stuff. So basically, when you render things with Tetra 3D internally, it's basically sending triangles to the GPU using Ebitin or Ebitingen. And the way that the triangles are sent, basically, it's like you don't want to send. You prepare the triangles and then you send them with a function call. But we can batch that process by basically preparing a whole bunch of triangles and then sending them all with one function call. So that's what batching does in this case. These are still individual objects, but we don't flush the render. We don't render all of the triangles until we get through all of the objects being batched, which in this case is all of these particles. So these particle effects can't overlap or can't intersect each other. But the upside is it's faster than rendering all of them individually. So we're maintaining a nice 60 FPS with some milliseconds to spare, and we have a few other particles rendering as well, which is cool. Lucas Coelho says, "Is this still hello? Is this still in Go?" Yes, it is, and hello to everybody. So this is all basically pure Go. Well, it is pure Go. The only exception is the add-on, the Tetra 3D add-on, which is in Python, of course, and it's for Blender. Apologies, this is really bright. Sorry, I've been trying to transition to like using lighter themes rather than just going with dark themes. I don't know. I feel like there's a reason to go with light themes. I'm gonna switch to dark here because this isn't really that bright. It's a lighter theme, but it's not like blinding, light. This was just pure white. So I'm gonna switch back to well, hold on. We could go with Blender Light real quick. Let's see. I don't really care for that much. That's horrible. I'll stick with the Blender Dark. That's fine. I want kind of a lighter theme. I have to see if I can get one. Anyway, Yeah, so the Tetra 3D add-on is, basically an add-on that you install for Blender that allows you to do additional things that you couldn't easily do. Like you can use the normal Blender GLTF exporter or GLTF files in Tetra 3D just fine, but uh, with the add-on you have the ability to do additional things like export animation markers for animations. You have the ability to export uh, different bounds types like for collision and things like that, so it's very useful. Let me actually get some music going. It's been a while since I've done this, so please be patient with me, and let's see if we can, hold on, bring it down to like -30 or so, maybe -35. Let's see, what's the loop button again? Does this not loop? Seems like this application doesn't allow you to loop a song or a video. Okay, well, I'll have to use something else. Let me go with, I don't have any alternatives. Oh no, hold on. See, this is the upside of Linux, is being like, oh no, I need something to play music. Let me just install VLC to like give me a solid, media player. And you don't have to, use additional software or anything like that. You can just pop it in and get it started. That's cool. There we go. All right, that's fine. And can we loop this? Yeah, that's fine. You know what? Give me something. Smoother. I need something smooth. Let me run over here real quick to settings. Default. I want music to go through VLC if possible. All right, that'll help. This will work. Yeah, this is the classic. Yeah, something like that. If it's too loud or too quiet, let me know. But yes, okay, so yeah, he's excited. Everyone's excited to see me alive and to see the stream notification. Glad to hear that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna try something a little different and just stream, because last time when I would stream, I would like either stream for a couple hours until I just didn't feel like streaming anymore, or like push myself until I streamed for like 4 hours or something, and it didn't feel that productive. So maybe what I'll do this time is stream more often and just stream until until I feel like I'm done. So like basically more frequent shorter streams might be a better approach than less frequent longer streams where I like have to like bear this out. So this might be actually a short little stream where I just kind of get reacquainted with streaming and show what I've been working on and all that stuff. A little bit shorter. Okay, so yeah, so Tetra 3D has an add-on. This is written in Go. So particles that have been added, baking's lighting and AO, ambient occlusion, has been added. So in this example, the lighting is of course vertex based. This is a largely software renderer. We're using the GPU to render triangles, but it is a largely software renderer, so that means that the lighting is vertex lighting. We could do fragment-based lighting, per pixel lighting, but for now this is fine. And so the lighting in this example is baked, so you can use the number keys in this example to cycle between the options of how the AO and lighting is composited. So this is shadeless, this is just AO, which is a very crude implementation. It's not fast currently, but it is usable. It does work. It's just not as fast as it should be. And then you have the ability to turn on the lighting, and then you have the ability to combine them all together. or combine them both together. And so in this example, we see how the lighting, is how it looks. But the upside of this is, of course, by baking the lighting and by baking the AO, you get this nice effect where it looks pretty good. It looks, nice and clean, but there's no lighting calculations. So you can see on the left-hand side at the top left, lighting frame time is at 0 milliseconds. So we're not taking any time to light this scene because the lighting is baked. So anything we put in here would be like shadeless, or it would be dark because there's no, well, I don't remember if the lighting is enabled and I just disabled it for this material. That would probably be the right way to do it, is basically to make your static level geometry, your level look the way it does and bake the lighting, and then leave the lights enabled, turn off lighting on just the level geometry, and then objects that are dynamic can still be lit like normal. Anyway, that's cool. That's a nice little feature. I've optimized the engine a lot, or the rendering a lot, so it's it's faster. And then Ebby Tension also has been optimized, so that is also good. That makes it faster. What else? What else? I added cube lighting. So a cube light is, in this example, a AABB volume, like a cube volume that lights the vertices in that volume. So you can see how just the objects in this square are lit, and we can press left and right to rotate the direction, but it's still just a AABB axis aligned bounding box that lights it. And you can use also up and down in this example to tweak how bright the dark portions of the light gets. So this is really useful if you wanted to make a game that's I think primarily indoors. You could use this to basically light your rooms and things, I think, pretty well. That's the idea that I developed it for. Was like, if you wanted to have an office building, then you would use a cube light to basically light the walls and the objects and stuff inside. So that's cool. That's nice. Music Boy J Boy says, "Yo, what's good? What's up? How's it going?" Snow Bizarro says, "I always wonder if you had a few baked light maps for different times, like morning, noon, and night. You could you mix them based on the delta to get a decent result?" Yes, you could. Well, okay. If you mean theoretically, you could, but the thing about that is that you wouldn't get a nice blend because, shadows. If you're talking about shadows, if you don't include shadows in that concept, then I think it would work fine. But if you include shadows, then of course your noon day light map would have shadows that are basically flat against the ground, whereas your morning or evening light maps would have really long shadows, so it wouldn't really blend that well. But I think if there was no shadows, then yeah, it would be pretty convincing, and I think that actually probably would work better in a PS1 kind of game where there is no shadows than in a modern, like something from the PS2 or PS3 era. I feel like it wouldn't work that well. I feel like PS3 had enough power to do like, dynamic lighting, but like the PS2 era, you kind of still had some baked lighting and stuff. But if the shadows were baked, or if the, shadows were baked into the light map, I think it wouldn't quite be as convincing as like either PS1 where there is no shadows except for maybe AO and spot shadows underneath objects, or PS3 and above where you have like dynamic lighting, where you have the power to like really do full dynamic lighting and full multiple light sources and stuff. But I think you could do that. In Tetra 3D you can take for example, bake lighting to a vertex color channel, and then you can combine lighting together. So in that previous example where we were baking the AO and the lighting together, and I think this is like big enough text, but let me know if it's not. I just made it a little bit bigger for those at home, for those on small screens. But I feel like with what's the word? I feel like with what was I gonna say? Oh, well, yeah, you can bake lighting together. Right, you can bake lighting together. Carl Otto says you could cache and bake the shadows infrequently and then render those for static objects. That's true. That's also, yeah. So you would have to like have maybe 8 or 16 or 32 different shadow maps for like different stages of the day. Although you could probably get away with just half of that for the daytime stages. The night stages, you would, I think people would forgive you for not having shadow maps. Like that would be fine. It would be such a light difference. So it's possible, but I feel like yeah, it's possible. Music Boy J Boy says, what does bake and bake lighting mean? So when you bake lighting, to bake lighting is to make lighting static. Dynamic lighting is the opposite. Dynamic lighting is there's a light bulb, here in real life, there's a light bulb here to my left. If I knock over the light bulb, the light source changes, right? So instead of being here, moving, this way, if I knock it over, it would be on the ground coming up, right? Static lighting is basically, the lighting is always the same, in the same location on all the objects. So if I were to, if the lighting was baked and I turned off the light, the light bulb to my left, I would still be lit as though the light bulb was still on because the lighting is baked on me. So basically the idea is by baking lighting, it becomes static and then you don't have to calculate it anymore. It's useful for, well, I guess it's easiest to show you. It's very useful for just making it simple, making it cheaper and easier to set up complex lighting, and especially it's useful if the lighting doesn't change. For example, if you're playing like a point and click game or a adventure game like that, something like that, where it's like you don't have a lot of moving parts, like I'm thinking like a hidden object game where you're like clicking on objects and removing them from the scene, or if the game is static, what's the word? If the game has like static camera angles and things like that, and the objects don't move that much, then you can bake the lighting, and you don't have to have the game running at like 40 FPS for lights that you don't move or turn off or change in any way. All right, so this is the example I was talking about. So in this example, the lighting here is all baked. We're not actually calculating this every frame. Instead, the lighting has been baked to vertex colors. So we can turn them off and turn them on like that. So that's the upside, is basically by doing this, we don't actually have to like calculate these lights. These lights don't need to influence all of these objects dynamically. If this was in a PS1, the PS1 would cause a house fire. Yeah, I think that the PS1 could do baked lighting. I feel like it could. Let's see. Yeah, essentially the shadows go to a grayscale texture that is on top of the base texture. I think Quake called it a light map. Yeah, so a light map is separate from baking the lighting. In this example, it's baked to, or in Tetra 3D, you can bake lighting to vertex colors, but in the past, people probably use light maps, people use light maps, which are textures, which both can look better, but then also, it's a little bit more complicated because you have to render the light map you have to have either multiple UV maps to like combine the light maps together. There's more to it. There's more to it. Okay, so what else have I been working on? I've been working on... Did I commit that? I did not commit that. Okay, well this is, yeah, delete this. The next thing, I added worlds. Worlds are, yeah, I mean, basically each world has its own like settings and stuff. You can cycle through worlds to change like the fog, the clear color, the ambient color, all that kind of stuff. So that's cool. It's similar to Godot, how Godot does it, where it's like a world has like ambient settings. These are, it's the same concept here in Tetra 3D where you can change different ambient settings. And then also, Uh, grids. I added grids. Grids are basically, it's like pathfinding, essentially. So in this example, all of these cubes are moving from one point to another using grids to navigate, or rather using a grid to navigate. So that's good. That's useful, like if you're doing a world map, or if you're doing, what's the word? Like pathfinding, like if you're, making a game like Pac-Man or something like that. This is a kind of a simple way to do it is you can basically make a grid for your level where the points indicate where a character can go, and then the edges are connections between those points. So I'll show in a second what this looks like in Blender, but this is the idea. So we'll go to Blender here. If we head over to grids, here we go. So in Blender, the grid is a mesh. It's just an ordinary mesh. Each vertex is a point. It becomes a grid point in Tetra 3D, and then the edges is the connections between them. So if we wanted to, for example, connect, let's say, this piece over to this piece, we could do that by going here. And then we just go here, select these 2 points. Oh, whoops. Press F to make an edge, save. And then we go back in there, and yeah, you can see the cubes start taking that path. I didn't update the mesh, the visible mesh. The visible mesh is just, that was pre-designed just to kind of give a little bit of a physical shape to it. But, the way this works is solid. So that's it. It's really simple. It's really easy to use. It works with Blender really well. I love that. I love this. This is great. This is solid. Cool. We will undo this. We will save that. And yeah, I probably worked on some other things. Oh yeah, collision detection has been cleaned up considerably. It's more optimized, and I also implemented a broad phase section to the collision detection. So basically, if you try to collide an object against a triangle mesh, which is basically a more complicated shape, when you go to collide with it, basically rather than checking all the triangles, we do a broad phase check first to see like, oh, could I be colliding with these triangles? Yes. Okay, let me check those individually. Could I be colliding with those triangles? No? All right, then we can skip that. That's the idea. So that's been implemented, and also broad phase collision, or rather, but also collision detection as the API. The API has been considerably simplified. Let me show you how. Okay, so the way that collisions used to work was essentially... Oh, this is the actual one. Hold on. There we go. The way that collisions used to work in Tetra 3D was something like this, where we say, okay, let's say we had a bounds object, which... let's see. Here we go. So just to make it simple and to kind of give some context to what we're looking at, this is a simple scene. Tom Lister says, yo, was my PR all sweet? Yeah, it was. I think I want to change some things a little bit just to kind of simplify the API, but your PR was solid. Your PR was solid. I think some documentation could have been added, but it was good. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. I think I just want to change the API a little bit to like maybe make it so that the width and height of the GLTF file is by default -1 on both, and you can set the width and height, and then if it's not set, then it'll just load it from Blender, because it feels weird to have like a default value of 1920 by 1080, but it reads the value from Blender, but you can turn off the reading. It's like, why not just make it so that you can read the value from Blender, and if you don't read it, or if you set the width and height manually, then that's just what it uses. So I think that I'm thinking about it, but yes, your PR was good. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. So the API for bounds checking, that's been simplified. Basically, the way this worked was we have a character, an object or a character, which in this case is this yellow capsule. It has a capsule bounds, and so we say, okay, well, let's go ahead and get the bounds of this capsule. So we're controlling the capsule here. That's g.controlling. That's the reference to the controlling model, which is this guy. And so we get this first child, which is the bounding object. It is the capsule-like shape. And so the way that I used to do this was basically, I would say, okay, well, if we want to get the solids in the scene, solid objects, we would say, for example, solids equals g.scene.root, children recursive. Okay, so that's all the objects. Then we say, well, we want only the solid, the solid objects, right? So let's say we identify solid objects with a tag, which in this case we don't, because we're colliding with everything. But let's say that, you know, some objects you want to collide with, some objects you don't. So some things, let's say like walls, you want to collide with, they're solid. Some things like kill planes you don't want to collide with, you want the character to just fall through, and then when they detect, you know, they've touched the kill plane, it's like, well, I died, right? So we use tags, so we can add a game property and say, okay, well, this is a solid object, right? So we say it's solid, and then here we can say, well, we want to filter out just the solid objects. Okay, cool. Now the problem with the previous API was basically the tag that we add gets added to the model, but the bounding object is a child of the model. So what this means is that you used to have to do it this way. You would have to say, give me all the solid objects, which is, you know, give me the root of the scene, loop through all children recursively, give me the solid objects with the solid tag, and then give me their children, and then filter out of those children the bounding objects, because that's what we're colliding with. Then we would say bound, for example, for collision in range, bounds dot collision test, and we're not moving at all, let's just say, but we're checking the solid objects, right? All right, so this oh, that's right. Okay, right. So this is how it used to work. So this worked, but then if you wanted to get the model to be like, oh, where's the position of the object? Then you would say like, okay, T, yeah, or, you know, root whatever is collision dot, like bounding object dot parent dot model or something like that. It was just really wordy, and I didn't like it. So now you can test basically objects directly, and when you test any like node, it will test that node if it's a bounding object, or all of its children recursively if they're bounding objects. So what that means is you can basically compose a complex shape out of smaller bounding objects, firstly, and secondly, that makes the API a lot more readable and easy, because it's like, you know, this wall, for example, has an AABB bounds. We don't have to look for the bounds of the wall. We can just look for the wall and be like, am I touching it? And it's like the wall has no shape, but it does have a node as a child that has a shape. So we'll check that. That's the idea. So it becomes basically goes from this to like this. Like that's basically it. So it's simpler. It's definitely simpler. Definitely a step in the right direction. All right. So that's basically it. I'm sure I worked on some other stuff, but that's not really that important. What I will show though is what I'm working on now. This is what I've been working on with Tetra 3D here. So the game is called Airdrift. It's a game that I had an idea for, had this idea about a while ago, maybe not 10 years, maybe 6 years, 8 years. It's basically like Pac-Man, but you play a dude in a car, and you can boost and drift. That's the idea. So this is Tetra 3D. It's running 60 FPS. We have like sub 2 millisecond frame time, which is not bad. Sub 1 millisecond logic, including collision checks, which is not bad. So yeah, this is running 1080p. Nice clean texture, or nice clean signal, screen and everything. You can rotate the camera with the Q and E keys, or with L and R on your gamepad. and you can move with, of course, the arrow keys. You can go off ramps like this. So you can, like, you know, obviously jump gaps. You can also, whoops, you can also drift. I wasn't paying attention. You can also drift by basically holding a key, which is X or A, I guess, on your gamepad, and you will begin to drift. But you have to be going fast, essentially. Like, the faster you go, the less time it takes. And so like you want to like be going at some speed before you drift. But the upside of this is that when you let go, you can go in any direction you want. So you have like maximum control over your like momentum. Yeah. Yeah. And then on top of that, I just recently implemented rails. So this is a rail. You can step on it and then it'll take you to the end. Or you can go the other direction. And so the upside of this, it's not perfect. It's a little buggy, definitely. You can see it's a little snappy and weird. But it does work. It is working pretty solid. It's Sonic Adventure tier rails, which is, it's pretty good. That's pretty good. It's not Tony Hawk rails, but it's, I mean, well, Tony Hawk rails and Sonic Adventure rails are almost the same tier of rails. They were both rather good. Yeah, so I still have to maybe do like momentum and stuff like that, but overall this is working pretty well. And every time I work on, you know, different games or whatever with Tetra 3D, it gets better and it gets more, you know, less buggy, and it gets more optimized. So this is good. Even if I don't end up like finishing this, although I do feel like I can finish this. This is not a hard game to finish. I still am like making cool stuff. Like it's still resulting in good results. Okay, so now the thing that's cool about this, there's a couple things that's cool. One is we have like hot loading, which is cool. So that works. So if we want to, oh, hold on. So we have hot reloading. So if we go ahead and say, for example, oh, we don't want this rail to work like this. We want it to go over here. Instead, we can just like make the changes, save, and now you can see the rails are different, right? So that's cool. It crashed. Why did it crash? Yo, it wasn't supposed to crash. All right. I think what I haven't tested, I thought this might crash actually, is that it combines grids together. And I think what we need to do, let me think. Yo, chill. Okay. What we want to do is this. Well, this is a bug we need to fix. So, because you know, we might want more than one rail in a single game, a single level. So we do want to make it easy to combine these, but we also want to make it so that if you aren't touching it, that becomes its own set of grid, its own grid. So let's go ahead and look into this real quick. So here we go. We're basically combining grids as necessary. We only want to combine grids if the grid is touching the other grid, essentially. Okay. So let's see here. This actually might be relatively simple. Let me just take a look at my code here. Can we move this up here, please? Thank you. All right, so the radius is 8, which is probably good enough. Dimensions is, yeah, 6. Okay, so let's do this. Well, I mean, but they should be like really touching. They should be like touching like directly. But that's not a, this isn't they're not touching, but I think the spheres would be touching. So the way that this works is that there's a sphere at the center of each rail that basically detects, that allows the player to detect if he's, basically near the rail. But then also that would allow us to detect if we're touching other rails. However, it's a little bigger. I guess I could just make it so that it's just like a little bit like right around here. Because then they'll intersect like that. Yeah, let's do that. Let me make this bigger. Okay, so all of these rails, the radius can be, instead of 8, they can be like 6.2. That should be fine. We'll copy this to selected. Yeah. Okay, so we'll try that first. And then also we want to loop through and combine the grids. Now, we only want to combine grids if they're touching. So we say for grid in range grids, grid dot parent nil. Okay. All right. So no, that won't work, right? Because it's like you have, in this example, if we combine this grid, let's say we have something like this. This grid combines with this grid, that's fine. But it doesn't combine with this grid because they don't touch. Oh no, we update the... No, I don't know if they would touch. If there is a... If we put... This is part of game development. So let's say this grid and this grid combine, right? So now the bounding sphere for this grid's center is here. The bounding sphere encompasses this radius. So maybe it would touch. Maybe it would touch. Okay. Let's presume it would touch. That's fine. Yeah. This should work. Okay. So we want to basically only combine with the neighboring grid. So this is going to be something like this. We can get this and move this up here. So now if BS dot, oh, base grid is, well, I guess base grid should be whatever grid we're working with here, huh? So grids, grid. So I guess it would just be grid. Okay, so something like this. So BS is base grid. Neighboring is tetra 3D here. Okay, so if BS dot collision, or colliding rather, other bounds, then neighboring, I guess we could just combine. We don't have to have that. We could just combine it directly. Combine it with B. Okay. We actually have time to do that, I think, because combine... Yeah, we already do that. Okay. Grid. G. Oh, it's already grid. Grid. Okay, never mind. All right, so something like that, and then we adjust the dimensions and the position and all of that. Let's see if this works. Yeah, hot reloading is definitely useful. I don't know if like Go, it doesn't really support hot reloading, I don't believe, but it is useful. I still love the language. And hot reloading in this context is just basically deleting the resources in memory for the game, and then just like we look at the resources to see if any of them have a new or modified time. If so, we delete the resources in game and restart the game. It will automatically reload the resources because that's what happens at the start of the game. So it's pretty quick and easy. It's just it's not Go specifically, but it is pretty quick and easy. All right, so this might help. Vaporwave says, "Yo, what up? What's up? What are you doing?" I am working on this 3D game. I'm trying to see if we can make it not crash. What I think I need to do. Let me see if I can I visualize this? Here we go. All right, so this is a visualization. We can see, yeah, there's 2 grids here. I guess what I'm doing, no, yeah, this should not be a problem. So maybe there's something else going on. Maybe there's another issue. W, not V, thanks. Okay, yeah, Vaporwave. All right. That's a good name. That's a good name. But yeah, making this 3D like action, like a maze game. This 3D like Pac-Man game. Right. Okay. So let's see here. Where does end? Yeah, this won't work actually. I think what I need to do is probably say something like that. That might be better. That actually wouldn't work either. We need the last point. But the thing about this, last point won't work if you're starting from the end, right? So I guess if end is equal to nearest, then let's try that. That might help us out. End. Nearest position. Oh, that won't work. That's true. Okay, we want it to be the last point. I guess what we can do is something like this. Something like this might work. Nearest. Oops. Let's see if you're nearer to the beginning. Okay. Something like that. Something like this might help. Whipperway says, "Is this your BG music? I think I subscribed from some box stuff." Yeah, this is mine. And that reminds me to change the music. Let's go with something else. Also, I've been really big on just as an aside, I've been really big on Deep Down, the song, the I think it's a meme song, but Deep Down by like 7 people is like Never Dull, A-Lock, Ella, Ire, Kenny Dope. It's just like, it's like 4 or 5 people on it. But the song is dope. Like the song is just deep house. Sounds like Gypsy, the Gypsy song. Anyway, I can't, let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Let me pull this up again. What's the name of this thing? Gypsy Woman by Crystal Waters. It's like that like electronic keyboard chord progression, but it's like a deep house version of it. I don't know if I would say it's not a remix, but it's kind of its own thing. Snow Bazzara says, do you still use Sunbox or Renoise? I use Renoise. I completely forgot to change the music. That's good. I use Renoise. Renoise is good. Sunbox got an update recently, actually. That was like maybe like 3 months ago. It got 2 point something. Let me see. Two point oh in March of 2022. Heavily recommend Sunbox. It's a great application. It really is. Let's see. Okay, so this might help us out. All right, so we got it's still crashing. Let's see. I think the issue is that these 2 points aren't connected. Nearest grid point. Version 2.0, yeah. All right, let's see. So 24, 0. That definitely sounds right. 24, 0. That's, yeah, 24, 0. And it's going to 36, negative 8. 36. Yeah, that's correct. I don't know why it's crashing. Let me see. Dog, yeah. Let me see if I can close my window, because I don't know, he might bark for like another eon. Give me a couple seconds. That literally did not help at all. It helped like maybe like 40%, 60%. You can still hear him outside. Anyway. All right. So the issue here, I'm pretty sure, is because we're combining the grids, which I think we do need to do. We do want to combine the grids. But we're combining G, okay. All right, let's do this. Let's try that. Let's see what connections we have. We have one connection, that's correct. If you're starting here, you have one connection that goes here, yeah, okay. So then, let me see. In the process of creating the path. Next, let's check two. Check. Very audible on my end now. Okay, good. That's my dog, yeah. He's annoying sometimes. He's a good dog, but he's also not always a good dog. All right, let's see. I think the issue is in the combination process of the grids. I'm pretty sure that's the issue. Next. All right, 36, 24, okay. 42. Okay. Wait, 20. 42, 0.25. Okay, that's not right. Okay, so it's still selecting the wrong thing, I think. I think it's selecting the wrong position. It's not combining grids properly. Is it colliding? Oh, that might be part of it. That's not, I don't think that solves the issue, but that it needed to be done. Yeah. Let's see. So we're combining the grid with other grids. We do this after each one. Dimensions at center. Dog is greater than cat. I think we get behind dog. Yeah, dog first. Dog. I think I'd get behind dog better than cat. on dog v cat discourse. I prefer dog. Yeah. Eboat Right says, "What's this new project?" Also, I've been blinded. Sorry. Fortunately, this isn't like stark white. It's a light gray. It's not day mode. It's like cloudy weather mode. This new project is a 2D. Well, it's 3D, but it's a 3D. I guess it's 3D. It's a 3D like maze game, like Pac-Man or something like that. That's the idea. I kind of have a vague like desire to like make it kind of like Mario 64, where each course has multiple objectives or something like that. I think it could be, that could work really well. But I also feel like just making a simple, just making levels that are fun. That's really, what people come. That's why people play games, is to have fun. It doesn't have to be like, let's make it like Mario 64. It's like, that's not, maybe if this does well and I finish this, then I can think about making it more complicated. But for now, let's just stick with, my idea. Well, okay, I'll talk a little bit about this. So the thing that I wanted to try here with this game was, well, firstly, this is an idea that I had for a while ago for a simple game, which is basically like Pac-Man, but you can drift and boost. And that the game is basically kind of constrained. Like you have basically, originally it was kind of like a single screen game, but now as I made ramps, I'm like, okay, well, if you're gonna make ramps, that means that you're gonna have more space to explore and stuff like that, to move around. So I'm not sure how constrained it's gonna be, but basically it's like Pac-Man, where you collect some currency or some item, and then when you collect them all, you can leave, or you will automatically leave, whatever. And something that I heard was that Shigeru Miyamoto said that you should make the first level of your game last. I'm not sure if he said that or not. I just read that someone said that he said that. If that is true, that makes sense, because it's like, you kind of should figure out your difficulty way before you're like beginning the game, right? Way before you're beginning to design the game. You shouldn't be like, let's design you don't even know. You may not have all of your art assets. You may not have all of your design choices down in code yet, and yet you're designing World 1-1. It feels like, it seems like it's more logical, unless your game is like an open world or something like that. If your game is level based, it seems more logical to start off by basically designing, and this is my idea, designing basically all of the pieces of the game and then start making it. So I'm going to start off with making spikes and ramps and rails and, walls and like this stuff. And then once I have all of this stuff kind of together, where it's like I can run around on a test course, then I can basically make the game. Because at that point, level design is pretty minimal. The hardest part of making a game like this is making the interactions between objects and making the objects, work well. The actual like creation of the levels is not that hard in terms of like, technically, it's not technically hard, and it doesn't take time apart from just thinking of a good level. Like, you know, if you have an idea of like, oh yeah, that would be a good level, you can, assuming I had all the pieces and they worked perfectly well, I could design a good level. Again, assuming I had the pieces and had the idea for the level already, I should be able to design it in 5 minutes, right? It's like, you know, you put down the pieces that you need, you move them around, and that's it. So it's like, I think that's the idea, is I want to try making something that I can finish. So it's small, it's not dependent super heavy on unique assets. It's something where, you know, I can make 1 or 2 ramps and use them for the entire game. It's something where I can make 1 rail and use it for the entire game. I don't have to, like, you know, make different rails for different biomes or things like that, unless I really want to, but that's something I can do at the end. So at the start, I'm just going to start working on like the basic mechanics and the basic assets, like rails, ramps, spikes, switches, doors, those kinds of things. Yeah, rough them in, see what works, and then work on them in passes. Exactly. Music Boy J Boy says, is it a sprite based car or 3D? It's sprite based. The fact that you can't tell is very encouraging. Yeah, it's a sprite. It's a sprite. It's just a 2D sprite. I can make it so that the cars have different personalities. Yeah. I was also thinking that I could have different mechanics, like this car works this way, another car has maybe a boost that you like tap the boost key and you boost forward immediately. But if you don't hit an enemy, then like you can boost into an enemy to damage it or to, you know, explode it or whatever, and that gives you more speed or something like that. So I do like the idea of having different cars that basically have different mechanics, like core mechanics, but overall each character, the game is going to be this. It's just, you know, this character works like this, another character works, you know, like that, or like this or that, you know, with minor differences, but overall the game is going to be this. Yeah, it's always tempting to get too far into the details too early and then realize that one specific detail wasn't working. Yeah, and I think that that's kind of something that I struggle with. I think a lot of indie developers struggle with that concept of like, you know, making a game and being like, this isn't working, or it's taking too much time, taking weeks or months on polishing like one aspect of the game or polishing the visuals, but the game itself isn't that fun or isn't particularly well done or whatever. And it's like, you know, rather than that, let me focus on like, you know, making things work. So I think that's probably what I need to do, and that's something I feel like I did on the games that I finished, not Gearing so much. Like if I went back and did Gearing again, I probably would do it like this, where I make all the mechanics and pieces first, and then go and make the game. So like I would make the, you know, weapon swapping and, you know, the movement and the shooting and the enemy AI and all that stuff in test zones, test environments, and then be like, okay, now we can make the game. So that's what I'm trying to do here. Now I think the issue is that we're combining the wrong grids together. Let's see. And that's why it's crashing. Lego pieces to play with, exactly. Wait. Oh. Hold on, let me, I'm not sure if this is 27000000. 27. Zero, zero, zero. Let me see something. Hold on. Okay, so we have various rail pieces here. 39, 0, -8, 33, 0, -8, 33, 0, 0. All right, so then why is the world position of this one all zeros. Oh, because it's unparented. That's right. Okay. My bad. Eboat Right says, I'm out. See you later. Okay, thank you very much for stopping by. Really appreciate it. Okay, so we're combining this one 27 with this one 33. And then this one 27 with this one here. And this one with 39 negative 8. Oh, I didn't save it. Oh, I did move it. When did I move it? I must have. That's strange. Okay, I don't remember moving this, but it was there. Okay. Or here. All right. So yeah, we're combining this grid with this grid. We should not combine these grids. I'm guessing it's because we're setting the, yeah, they're touching. They're not touching. They shouldn't be, but they are touching. So this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. So here's what we're going to do. Rather than checking if we collide with another grid by the bounding sphere that kind of contains the rail, we will check by placing a bounding sphere at each point on the rail and then see if any of those spheres touch another rail, right? So it's like this rail has 2 points, one here and one here. If we place a sphere here and check for collision with another rail, there is one here. So we can do that. So let's try that. We don't actually need this. We can do it this way. Radius of 0.5. And we want to check all of the grids. Oh, we can just say if this G. There we go. Oh, wait, I still need this dude. Okay, so this might be a little better. This might give us a little bit of a better result. I forgot. We can't do this way. Stop. What we want to do is say for point range base grid dot points. Okay, so we want to do that. Vector version of this. We use point world position. All right, that should get us a little bit closer to what we're trying to do. All right, so it says, well, okay, G. So we're connecting to 33 here. We're connecting to 33 negative 6 here. But then we're also connecting to 39 negative 8. Should the radius be smaller? Yeah, the radius was 0.5. Oh, it's because the bounding... Yeah, okay. Let me think, hold on. Okay, we don't need to do this here. We'll do this outside. That makes it a little bit more predictable. So I think this should work. I think we fixed it. Yeah, so we're just combining these 3 grids. Let's try this over here. We're gonna put this rail here like this and see if those 3 grids combine. No, it combined this one. 27. Yeah, it combined this one with these. And then those. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Okay, I see what we need to do. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this in another loop. We'll just do this again, honestly. Because in the process of combining grids, they also get unparented. So after this, like we step through this, there should be grids that no longer exist, basically, in this collection. So we're not gonna use this again. So we're gonna do this down here. So at this point, yes, put that here. At this point, the only grids that are left should be combined grids. Vaporwave says this music reminds of Eastward. I still have to beat Eastward. I have it. I got it pretty much like right when it came out. And I felt like it was like kind of slow, honestly. Not like in a comfortable way, but just like I thought it was really well done. Like I thought the polish in Eastward was like fantastic, visually, audibly, everything. But it just felt really slow. Like it just wasn't really going anywhere. I know it. Of course, there's a deep story. Like there's things happen, but it just felt like a little bit of a little slow. I still have to go back and like put time into it, but like I'm sure it was a good game. I just have to. Why is it doing that? I'm sure it was a good game. I just have to actually put the time in. Hold on. This is a banger too. Friends have said that about other games I love. I usually play them in 2 nights. Yeah, I'm sure Eastward isn't like a super long game. I don't think it is. It's just a matter of why are they combining together? Is it about distance? Let me see. Okay, so this is combining correctly. So 27 and 33 combine. So this one. And then 27 and 33 and -6 combine. So these combine, That's fine. But for some reason, when they're closer, and not even significantly closer, oh yeah, now I see why this wouldn't work. Yeah, I hadn't considered it. like, oh, how sad. Just grew. Okay, I see what the problem is. I keep forgetting how I myself implemented this, but there's a sphere surrounding this each entire rail. So from here to here, these 2 rails are within each other's sphere. So it's like, you're checking to see if this rail is touching this rail, it's within the sphere, or at least, the points, some of the points. So what we'll do is we'll make use of a function for this. Yeah, I think we can do it like this. We're going to say g dot nearest position on grid. Check. And we're going to use point world position. And then we're going to check that point. Well, actually, we should probably, because point in base, yeah, this is correct. If the, or really, I guess we just want to check to see if the distance, There we go. So this actually might work better. That's a simpler, it looks simpler. The code looks simpler. Let's see if it does work. Crash. Let's see. Okay, grid combined 2733. 2733 negative 6. Okay, so these two combined, or these three combined. All right. These three did not combine. Why did they not? Feds Pazarino says, probably you already did, but mind, do you mind? Oh, but mind you, what, master, please? Probably you already did, but could you explain what you're crafting, what you're doing? Sure. I'm making, okay. So this is a 3D like maze game, like, you know, Pac-Man, but you control a guy in a car. He can drift, he can boost, and he can ride rails. He can grind rails. The rail grinding system is in the game. It does work. It's a little janky, but it does work. However, in order for it to work, basically the rails have to be connected. So in this case, we have these three rails which are connected, and we have these three rails which are connected, but they're just individual pieces. I can just place them down. What we're trying to do is make it so that this becomes a rail, like a contiguous rail, and this becomes a contiguous rail, but they do not connect. They do not, you know, these are two different rails. That's the ideal. I guess actually this might be part of it. But wait, why is this even going off when we're nowhere near the... Why, I'm not... Oh, this is crashing up here. Nearest position on grid, point dot world position. Index out of range. Nearest grid point. Let's see. Let's see. Let me see something. How is GDAP parent? Oh, yeah. Okay. Forgot about that. Just straight up. Yo, is it working? I think it's working. So they're connected. Let's see. Yo. Okay. I can't get to that one. But let's try this. I didn't have to restart the game. Oh, it's tall. It's a big boy. Okay. No. Oh wait. I think whoops. Yeah, if you look in the physics, you can see these spheres are what I placed to basically say, rather than checking every rail all of the time to see if we are colliding with it, we just want to check the ones that we're near, right? Oh, that won't work. I forgot because that's right. This won't work. And you can understand why. Because basically, okay, this won't work. Also, the radius is too big. I never even realized the radius is larger than it needs to be. The radius is 6 point. It should be 3. The dimension is 6. The radius should be like 3.1 or something. Don't fail your high school math, everybody. Don't do it. Don't forget. Lucretius, hello. Faz Prazerino says, cool that you decided to do it on Tetra 3D. Did you make any performance improvements since last time? Yeah. I'm not sure how effective they were, but I did do performance improvements. I did try to, like, you know, make it render faster, all that stuff. And we're you know, doing pretty good. We're at like sub 3 millisecond, 2 millisecond, you know, around there for rendering. That's not bad. Like, I'm pretty sure I could lower the what's the word? Polygon count. Lower the polygon count for, oh no, lower the polygon count for these rails. But like, and you know, it's a little janky. I mean, you know, I can clean some of this stuff up, but overall this is pretty good. I think yeah, this is going pretty well. Right, so the thing that I forgot about, so we have these spheres, and this is now properly sized. We have these spheres that basically say, you know, this, you know, you're near this you know, rail. Check to see if you're riding it, right? Because we don't want to check all of the rails all of the time. We just want to check rails that we're like within reach of. Now, when you combine rails, then the spheres, their bounding spheres, disappear. So we need to fix that. Now, the easiest way to fix that is to parent the spheres to the parent, the combining base grid. So Lucretia says, is this light theme in VS Code? My eyes are burning off. Okay, this is you guys can't get over light theme. Light theme helps you think. I would say light theme helps you think, but fine. Have it your way, apparently. I hope you're happy. You're getting into my brain. I can't think. You didn't have me pegged as a light theme boy, bro. Light theme is wonderful. Look at this. It's so chill. I mean, I understand it's not quite dark theme, but it's also, there's some light in there, and then you got your light colored, you know, file manager, and it looks so slick, it looks so clean, it looks so good. It's a little bit of both. You can't just have dark all the time. You gotta have some light. Open up the window and touch grass. That's just the way. Just that's part of life. You don't understand what it means to live. What OS is this again? This I changed operating systems. This is Fedora. It's pretty good. This is the most well, I wouldn't say that. I think Zorin OS is the most Windows-like Linux operating system, but this is Fedora. It works really well, in my opinion. I like it. It's rolling release. Kind of, like, I know like there's frequent updates, but it's kind of like point releases. So it's not rolling release being where your system packages need to be updated or can be updated frequently, like every week or two. It is instead point release, I believe, which means, you know, your Linux system packages get released every month or something like that. But it's like every month or something like that. You know, around there. It's not as frequent as a rolling release, but I've had updates maybe every week or two. Maybe not system level, like major system level updates, but you know, some updates. Or maybe I don't know. In any case, Fedora's nice. It does this thing where when you go to update your computer, it restarts the computer. I mean, like you know, it'll be like I'm gonna update your computer and restart. Is that okay? Like, you know, you'll choose the option to update and restart, which is something that I've only seen Windows do. I've never seen a Linux distribution do that. In all the distributions I've used, and I've used quite a few, I've never seen that. I've had distributions where you update and it's like, hey, we changed like some kernel settings or you know, updated some kernel level drivers or well, not drivers, but kernel level, like, I guess kernel level drivers or something like that, you might want to restart your computer. Like, it advises you of this. And I've seen that, or I've seen it where it just silently updates and, you know, you have to know to restart your computer. But I've never seen it be like Windows, where it updates and restarts, and then when it restarts, you can see it like loading and updating the computer. That's very interesting. And if it makes the system more stable, then that's good. I'm surprised more Linux distributions don't do that, actually. It seems like it's a good thing, you know, especially if making changes means you're gonna update your computer. It's like, yeah, seems logical. Lucretia says, I feel like you switch operating systems more than most people. I probably do, but I think that usually there's some kind of reason. Like, I never remember it. The last time I switched, or this time I switched, I went from, I think it was Manjaro. And I think I switched because some people were saying like Manjaro has like security issues. Oh, no. That's true. But I switched because when I did an update, I think it broke my computer. There was a recent thing to do with Grub. I think that like a lot of rolling release distributions. No, I was on Endeavor OS, and a lot of like rolling release Linux distributions kind of got broken because of a push. Well, I don't know about a lot, but various like Arch Linux based rolling release distributions got broken because of a push to an update to, I think, the grub config file or grub config application, something like that. And so various distributions basically updated, and then they were like broken for, like, it was an update that broke computers, but the update was only like active for a day or two or something. Like, you can look it up, or I can look it up. Let me see if I can find more information. Yeah, is it this one? I think this was about right. August 22nd. That's, yeah, about right. Grub broke after update. Grub broke after update, and now every time I boot, I see the welcome to Grub, but then get thrown into my laptop system startup menu. Yeah, so like upstream bug. Hey everyone, after the latest Grub update an hour ago, I restarted my laptop. It didn't go to the Grub menu. So like this entire, it caused problems. The update caused problems. And so after that, I was like, I was always a fan of rolling release distributions, because, you know, that gives you the kind of the most up-to-date software, and that's really important for programmers. If you're not a programmer, it, you know, you won't really it doesn't matter that much. But if you're a programmer, it's like, well, you kind of need, you know, a installation or a particular version of Go or Python that's not from, you know, 7 years ago. You need it from like, you know, 2 months ago, you know. And of course, different distributions have different rates at which they sync their packages. So, you know, some distributions are like, yeah, we don't update Python but once every 4 years. And some distributions that are, again, stable are like, well, we update, you know, non-system packages frequently. So it depends on which distribution you're looking at, how often it updates. But I like rolling release distributions because it generally has up-to-date, like, it generally has up-to-date packages, but I want something that's stable too. So Fedora seems to be kind of in the middle there, where it's like the things in their packages in their package manager seem to be like recent. Like, you know, the Go I have is not a particularly old version. Yes, there we go. Go 1.18. The current version is 1.19, so it's not super old at all. It's just the previous version, which is fine. For, you know, fine for my purposes, perfectly fine. But like some, well, yeah, so that's good. And then on the flip side, it's pretty stable because it doesn't update like it's not a rolling release update. So it's not like you're going to update it and then like have, like you update it on Friday and then Saturday you update it and then Sunday you update it and then Monday your system's broken. It's not going to be like that. You might still, your computer could still get broken because of an update, but it's not going to be an update that's like a frequent update. So hopefully if the updates happen once every, like system level updates happen once every month instead of once every week, or once every 6 months instead of once every week, then it'll give the developers of the operating system a little bit more time to like look into it and be like, does this cause any issues? So we'll see. But so far, I like Fedora. It seems like the best of basically all worlds. It's recent, it's clean, it's very modern looking and feeling, with some extensions and things. But yeah, I like it. Thumbs up. I would put Fedora at like a 9.5 out of 10. Well, maybe that's a little high. Maybe 9 out of 10. I don't really have any complaints. DNF is kind of slow. That's the package manager. It's a little slow, but it's fine. Yeah. So I haven't used this for very long, this operating system. I've used it for maybe 2 weeks. Nah, maybe 4 weeks. So like, well, yeah, since that date, since August 22nd. Since August 22nd, when the update caused my system to be unbootable. I didn't want to go through the process of fixing it and be like, something like this could happen again. I'm like, well, let me try a rolling release distribution, and I hadn't tried Fedora in a while. So here we go. All right, so the problem with this is, I think, right. So that's what we're talking about. So here's the issue. So we can do this with bounding spheres, that's fine. We just need to grab the bounding sphere when we combine the grid. So what we probably want to do is just reparent all of the... Yeah, we're already doing that actually. So why don't we just do it like this? Oops. Yeah, let's try that. All right, so we're combining the grids. Now if we go back here, let's print out the hierarchy after we combine them. All right, so we have some rails, and we have some grids. Okay, so here we go. So we have this grid, we got 3 bounding spheres. We have this grid, we have 4 bounding spheres, and then we have 5 rails that don't have bounding spheres. This might actually be the solution. Okay, so you can see how this works now. This is this is why why I went all through this. So now we just have to check the spheres. We don't have to do anything extra, but I'm saying internally, the player is checking the spheres to be like, oh, am I, gonna touch a rail? And it's like, no, well, maybe, like, no, but here, maybe. So check that rail. So now we can grind here. Okay, well, that's not right, but at least it's not crashing, and then we can grind on both sides. That's good. Oh, but it's not finishing out the... Actually, it might just be that it's not, we're just not grabbing the node we want. Yeah. All right, well, this is working. That's good. So we're kind of done there. We just need to get the player grinding system to work properly. So how do we want to do this? Let's go over here. So in this example, if you start here, you want to go to the end, right? So how do we like make that happen? Because they're not there's no concept of necessarily a reliable concept of first and last when it comes to the grid, the nodes, because in this example we're combining nodes, combining grids together. So if we combine these first, let's say, then we combine this one into these, now the order is not the same, right? It could be messed up. So what do you think? Because the current incarnation is basically you start grinding, and it's like, okay, you start here, and now it asks basically like, where should I end? Like, this is the starting node, where should I end? So it chooses, you know, it should ideally choose the last node, but maybe instead we should just choose the next node in the rail. Like, we could just be like, you know, next one, like that. And then once you get to the end and there is no more next nodes, then that's the end of the grind. That's an idea. Yeah, maybe that's the right way to do it. So you start, well, you grind here. We can navigate there, but we could also just, let's see. Wait, what happened to my thing? That's weird. Where's the, yeah, I don't know why it switched out from the custom pedal bar. Carl Otto says we are SolarLune's rubber duck. Kind of, yes. Point of view, you are a programmer's rubber duck. So you touch a rail. Oh wait, can we just? Yeah, wait, can't we? Don't I just? Yeah, why do I do this way? I don't remember. Grid.furthest point. Also, can we name this from, what is it? Grid point? That might help us out. Let's see. Okay, that's pretty accurate. Yeah, okay. So now it boomerangs. So now how do we solve that? Let me see here. Is it just like, no, there's something going on here. Did I never do that? I guess I did. Let me see. Huh. All right, well, that's actually, that works pretty well. Immediately goes off the rail. Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, it's not perfect, but that's pretty good. That's honestly pretty good. Just add some particles for grinding. And what I wanted to do, the reason why I did this was because I wanted to have also the ability to transfer between rails. I feel like that would be good. Maybe not moving as fast as you move here, because here it's almost impossible to to react to things. But I like the idea of like having a rail like this, and you needing to jump from one rail to the other like that, where you're grinding and then you have to like jump to the other one, like Sonic. I feel like that would fit in pretty well to this system. Now that I think about it, that's cool. It's cool, and it definitely could work well. But thinking about it in terms of how the game's going to play, maybe I'll delay that till later, because while I could implement this, the question comes in of how do enemies react? How do they, what do they do? Do they just grind the rail and die? Do they also jump? Or do they just not get on rails at all? Like, that I have to kind of consider that. So maybe I'll save that concept for once I get like more enemies, once I get some enemies in the game. But I think overall this is pretty good. It works. It's not perfect, but it works. And this allows me to have levels that basically have multiple ways of entry and stuff like that. Like maybe oh wait, I do have oh yeah, hold on, let me try something. Oh, I have to readjust this. Where is my collections? Here we go. Can we set off second cursor? Save. There we go. So I could do something like this. Everybody's favorite idea slash mechanic, where you can only get to, like, you can go one way, but the other way is unreachable. So I can't go that way, but I can go this way, and that should take me up. There we go. And then I can come out here and drop down. Yeah, that works pretty well. I'm pretty happy with this. I think he moves too fast, and it's still jank, don't get me wrong, but like, that's pretty good. That's pretty good for hand making all of this. This is kind of sick. I don't know. Car Skater, nice mashup like Rocket League. Yeah, a little bit of like Tony Hawk, Sonic energy, but I feel like it could be a lot of fun. I feel like it could be a pretty fun little game. I think that this is interesting. Physics are a little weird, don't get me wrong, but that's something I can tweak as I work on it. But yeah, this is pretty good. Let's finish off by making like a kill plane, because that's something I know I'll need at some point. So we will. Do we need to hold on? I'm gonna make this level. Do we need to make like? Is it? You won't need. Well, I'm trying to see, like, do I need to make an actual kill plane? Firstly, do I need to make it an asset that I can place in the multiple levels, or can I just use a Y position of, a vertical position of like -50 and be like, that's a kill plane, that's fine. I'll just use the I can't imagine a situation where I would not have a problem, where I would have a problem with that. Also, I just realized that I could do a lot more with the rails. Like, I can make them go in circles, and I could do stuff. I could do stuff with this. If you can't jump off rails, then the player doesn't have a lot of engagement if he can't really engage with the rails. If he can't slow down, he can't transfer. I kind of had an idea of like maybe being able to hit a switch to like change which rail is active. Like if you have a Y like this, you could like hit a switch and go left or right. So that's an idea, or maybe you just lean in that direction. But I do want it to be where the player has like some incentive to travel on the rails, or some active mechanic where they like engage in some way. But at the same time, it's not a huge deal if they don't. I don't know. I got to think about it some more. Let me make that kill play. It can't just restart the game or level. It has to actually replace the player where he was. So because if it restarted the game, then obviously you would lose your progress. So we'll go operate under the assumption that when you die, you lose a life, and when you lose all of the lives, you will have to continue. Something like that. So we'll just say that if you get too low, you die, and you get replaced where you started. So we'll have a spawn location. We'll just put it down here, I guess. Yeah, we can just say spawn location is node.world. You guys saw me type world position, right? I typed in world position, and then it became local position. I don't know why. Anyway, node.world position. Okay, so we're good there. Whoops. And then from there, yeah, we just do something like, well, I guess we could. We can't just replace the player because his speed is going to be all different and stuff. So we have to actually make a function for this. Player.world position. Oops. Player.spawn position. Player.speed. We can just say that. 0. Player.boost level 0. Player. What else? State. Okay, that should kind of do it. Reaper says, "What are you programming, son?" I'm winning. I'm winning. I don't know. Carl says, "I'm late. I would be lazy." Well, okay. Alter Ego and Carl both say it has a cool vibe and it looks awesome. Thank you very much. Carl says, "I would be lazy and use a Z height for the moment. Would change it later if the need arises." I think that's probably fine. Carl says, "Jumping might be next. Platformy." Yeah, maybe a different car can jump. So one car can jump. This car can boost. Something like that. Because I feel like jumping. If you could jump, I feel like then you don't really need ramps. Then you don't. Enemies aren't that dangerous. But maybe the car who can jump, because he can't boost, he's using jumping more, and maybe jumping has its own, your ability to jump is good, but because you can't boost, now you can't get through maybe speed checks or something like that. Ramp on the rail? Yeah, I think actually if I just make a rail that goes up and just terminates, I think it'll actually spit them out correctly. Let's test that out. We'll test it out like this. I think it will. I'm not sure, but we'll see. I guess actually we could just test it out like this. Just make this go up like that. I think it'll make a jump, and I guess we could actually make it way more sharp to kind of Oh, I see. It doesn't like that I renamed the thing, I think. Test level. Yeah. Keep doing that. All right, let's see if this does do what we kind of. Yep. Oh no. Oh no. All right, that is pretty dope though. Yo, the drift. Yeah, so that does work. So I mean, I'm happy with that. Honestly, that works really well. It may not be perfect, but I mean, the ability to do that kind of stuff is cool. So ramps or rails that knock you up can work. What else? Do you prefer to implement states as objects or as enums? I just use enums unless it's like a what's the word? Can't think of the word. Not an active state. A state machine. Active state machine? What is it? What's the? Finite state machine. I don't know why I was thinking active. I was thinking there was an A. Finite state machine. Unless it's a finite state machine where basically each state needs to like do a specific set of things. If there's, you know, I probably would lean toward that if each state was really well encapsulated, where it's like, while you're doing this, you can walk, you can jump. While you're doing this, you cannot walk, you cannot jump. You know, something like that. But in this case, because a lot of the code is shared, I just use enums, because basically like while you're boosting or drifting, you can move around like normal. While you're charging, let's see. How am I? Oh, while you're charging boost, there's no friction. Okay, I see. So yeah, the enums are simpler. Yeah, Alter Ego says enums are simpler and avoid a lot of bloat of state objects, but make it harder to encapsulate enter and exit behavior. Yeah, so it's definitely you know, you can definitely use object-based states or a finite state machine. That's definitely a good idea for some cases, but it's not like strictly necessary. There's definitely upsides to, you know, this approach where basically each state is just kind of its own thing, or rather all of the states are together and each state is not its own thing. Right, kill plane, that's what I was working on. So we'll just do it like this. We'll just say if player dot model dot world position 1 is less than negative. Oh my gosh, I got a new keyboard like 2 or 3 days ago, and I like it, but I'm still kind of like getting used to it. It is an Epo Maker TH98. I'm not sure if it'll show up on camera. It's a tiny little right here in the bottom right corner. Direct your attention in the bottom right corner. But yeah, it's an Epo Maker TH98. It's a 98%, I think, keyboard. So it's like, you know, some keys got moved around and stuff. It's pretty good. I like the way it feels. I like the way it you know, even looks right now, although I'm not a huge fan of a white case. But it's also, I'm kind of getting used to this key layout. I'm not really familiar with it. I mean, like, you know, it's largely the same, but the numpad, yeah, I'm not used to 0 being just 1 key instead of 2 keys large. It's just a little different. And then in addition, I got new keycaps. This is new keycaps, but I got even newer keycaps. Hold on, let me show them. Hold on. Let me see if they oh, this oh no, okay. I thought that it was gonna be like yeah, I thought it was gonna be like just a Ziploc bag full of like, I don't know why they stapled the Ziploc bag. I thought it was just gonna be like loose keys, but it's not. It actually is like packaged properly. But basically, with this keycap set, all of the keys are just dots. All the keys are just dots. There's no letters on any of them. So that's gonna be pretty wild. Yo, yes. Okay, I was worried. I was worried that, like, because they're all dots, there would be no F or J key. Basically, on a normal keyboard, I'm sure everyone's aware, but on a normal keyboard, the F and J key are home keys, and there's little lines on the bottom of the keys to help you find the key. even if you don't look at the keyboard. On this keycap set, the one I have on my keyboard already, there's little dots instead of lines. You can feel them. And the 5 key also has a similar dot. I thought that because these have no glyphs, no letters, no legends, that basically it would be like impossible to kind of feel your way. But there is, like, you know, an F key and a J key. Even if they don't say F and J, they have little lines, so you can feel them. That's fantastic. So that was like the only thing I was kind of worried about. Also, my camera's a little high. I never really noticed. That's the only thing that I was kind of really worried about when I was working on or getting this keycap set. I was like, it looks cool, but I don't know if I, you know, would be able to really use it if all the keys are, if I couldn't tell where my F and J, where my home row is. But now that I know that, you know, you could tell, oh man, this is gonna be sick. This is gonna be absolutely ridiculous. QWERTY, nah. Vorak, nah. Dots, yes. All right, so that's basically it. We're just gonna call this, I guess, re-init. That's probably fine. Or maybe just respawn. That's fine. Cool. So yeah, if the player position is less than -10, which is way down here, then we will just say that he died. Cool. So that should kind of get us where we want to go. Oh no. Yeah. Pretty good. Let's see. Camera. Helper. Cam handle. Wait, how do I? I'm trying to figure out how is the camera like following the player. Where did I do that? It's literally right here. It's like right here. Okay, so we're gonna do a little fun little thing where we have a little state where it's like, oh, you died, and it'll give you like a second and then respawn you. So we will say player.death time equals time.now. I guess we'll say I guess we don't actually need a died thing. We could just use the state for that. We could use state died. Death time. Okay, so then we say if player.state is equal to state dead. Else there. Second. Then player.respawn. All right, something like that. Diff. There we go. Yeah, something like that should work. He ain't coming back. Apparently he's not coming back. Oh no, where'd he go? Where'd he go? Oh, where'd he go? Where'd my player go? What happened? Let's see, where'd he go? Alright, so diff, alright. If the time that since def time. Oh, I see. This should be here. There we go. That feels pretty good. That's pretty good. I think it probably should be like 2 seconds, but that's rather solid as it is. Freeper says, I'm planning to make my own piece. Well, wait, hold on. What's my words per minute? I'm not sure about 15 seconds, but what my words per minute is like, I don't know. I can get up to like 100, somewhere around there. I can get up there. I don't like maintain my speed, but if I like, get typing, it can get up there. The creature says, how long am I going till? I'm probably gonna end it right around here. My idea is that I'm gonna probably try to stream more often and just not stream for as long so I don't get as tired. I've been streaming for almost exactly 2 hours, so yeah, I'll probably do like an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that, and maybe just stream like 3 to 4 days a week rather than streaming twice and then like just being like dead tired after streaming for 3 or 4 hours and then not wanting to stream in 2 days. Like, it's just a little easier, I think, to do it, frequently, but not like do it frequently, but not so long, I feel like. So I might stream tomorrow. I'll probably, either it'll be today's Tuesday. I'll probably stream, maybe I'll stream Monday, Tuesday. Well, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. I don't know. I gotta figure it out. But yeah, I'll see if I can stream more than once a year. Right. Carl Otto says, I used metal keys for a while. I like them, but wore the finish off. Oh, that sounds, bronze keys could be good. That sounds, or something, like something where you can't wear the finish off, but that is metal. That sounds like a good idea. I saw some ceramic keys that sounded absurd. Like they sounded just like really like while you're typing on them. I think it's Cera keys, C-E-R-A, like ceramic keys. Cera keys. So that's interesting. I feel like there's like room in the mechanical keyboard space for like new and interesting ideas, but we're not seeing a lot of. It doesn't seem like to a relative outsider. Like I've used mechanical keyboards for a while, but I haven't like really bought like. I haven't really like tried to customize a mechanical keyboard until right around now, where I'm like buying new keycaps and trying to see like, can I replace this case, or can I like, paint it or something like that. It feels like there's like innovation, but there's not a lot of like really insane like stuff like commercially available. But I'm not sure. Maybe we're just, maybe I'm not looking in the right places, or maybe it's there and maybe it's just not there. I don't know. But it seems like it could be that it's just like mechanical keyboards are just kind of catching on in terms of like more people, getting aware, because it's like mechanical keyboards have been around for a while, but a lot of them are kind of tuned toward gamers, and gamers tend to want black and neon stuff. Whereas like you have a black keyboard with the neon, asp on the front, and it will like shoot venom, and it will like, rend your enemies in half. And it's like, I just want like something to do my taxes on and to like make it feel good. Like that's about it. Like make it feel, make my heart die a little slower when the government takes my money. That's basically what, mechanical keyboards are to most people. It's just like, if you're not a gamer, it's like, you appreciate it feeling nice when you type and, it's sounding nice, but you're not looking for like, insane, neon RGB and stuff. Like, like I have RGB on this, but it's basically just going to be white. I'm just setting it to white because it's like, that's fine. So yeah, hopefully like as, time goes on and the people who buy, mechanical keyboards go from age 17, 19, 21, 22 to 40 years old, they'll start to be like, well, let's like make, publicly available, mechanical keyboard cases, because there's only like 4 or 5 layouts. It's not that many. For most mechanical keyboards are either full, 10 keyless, this one without any of the breaks between the keys, so it's like it's just all the keys are like smushed, or this without the function, this without the numpad, this without the arrow keys, and like there's like 7 layouts. It's not a lot. Like I'm pretty sure somebody could easily make a variety of cases and kind of just like deal with it. The only thing that might be an issue would be the thickness of the keyboard, because I feel like that's not uniform, but I think roughly keyboard cases are kind of uniform. So it's like you should be able to, you know, it seems like it's something that people should be able to do. Current caps are cheap, fake chrome plastic, but they hold up well. Set the color to amber or light blue. Yeah. Bond of the Dead says, I didn't want to light up keyboard, but Cave, since it was the cheapest one I could get that was decent for me. It's nice, but the lights are so strange. Yeah, I feel like light up keyboards is just like, it's a gimmick except for lighting up the keys, like the glyphs, the letters, the legends on the keys. Like besides that, I don't really like, I don't feel like most people care if it's like flashing red and blue and green. Like if you're a gamer, it's like you probably are looking at the screen, like you don't really care about your keyboard like going neon, you know, raving. But maybe if you're a streamer, I don't know, it just feels like most people probably just want like a steady backlight where they can see the keys, I suppose. But yeah, anyway, it's been fun. We managed to get quite a bit done, despite the fact that I struggled on this for a little bit, for like 40 minutes or something, an hour, I don't know. But I managed to get it squared away, and part of it was like something to do with Tetra 3D a little bit. Let me see. Just a little bit. Yeah, this should have been children instead of points, because you might have other things parented to your grids, like I did, where I had other bounding objects. So it's like, you know, let's bring those over. And let me adjust the documentation on this as well. Combines this repairs the grid points and children to be under the calling grids. If the two grid points share the same position, they will be merged together. If, for example, A is connected to B and B is connected, a grid point A is connected to B and C is connected to D, and B and C share positions after calling combining. You know what? That's unnecessary documentation. Their grid points will have been absorbed. Okay. Let's see. MK Disco. I don't think I've heard of that. A 10 keyless RGB backlit mechanical keyboard. That's something I do like and don't like about mechanical keyboards. Well, there's something I do like about mechanical keyboards, is that like most mechanical keyboards are in kind of this layout. Like most, like relative, there's only a few mechanical keyboards who have a numpad that are like full sized, and only a few that have a numpad that are this sized, that are smaller but basically still have a numpad. So like out of 100 mechanical there's not that many mechanical keyboards. Out of like 60 mechanical keyboards, maybe 40 are 10 keyless. Maybe not 40, maybe 30 are 10 keyless, and then maybe another like 20 are like maybe, you know, another 20 are I'm trying to think of what the other layout is. Oh, like this, but without the function buttons, function rows. So it's like most mechanical keyboards just lack this top, this section, and the 10 key. So it's like if you want the 10 key, most people don't want it, I guess. So it's rare to find a keyboard that has a 10 key. And you know, I just want more 10 keys. It's important for coding. Grisha says, do you enjoy the act of code, writing code in itself? Yes. Finding, like, solving problems with code. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to solve the problem. It's not fun to have the problem, but it's fun to solve it. Bond says, I just want a keyboard that sounds like I'm typing the most important thing anyone has ever typed before. Get blue switches. Get the loudest switches possible. F Reaper says, I have a DAS keyboard, and so far it's been really clean typing on it. That I looked at that, and the DAS keyboard. I didn't mean to. Hold on. The DAS keyboard it did look pretty good, like with the knob and everything. Like, yeah, like this is pretty slick. It's pretty clean. I guess I wanted a keyboard that kind of looks kind of like generic, so I could customize it with my own keycaps and stuff like that. I didn't want something that's like super heavy, like this is, you know, this keyboard. But I do appreciate that it's probably high quality. This looks like a pretty good keyboard too, actually. Like, obviously I'm not using a Mac, but I like the way it looks. It's just a clean board, knob on the top right. Yeah, that also looks good. The switches are soldered. Oh no, it's unfortunate. I mean, it's not. It's kind of unfortunate because it's like if you have a hot swappable board, I don't really envision changing these switches, even though I feel like I would like blue switches or clickier switches more. These are brown switches, Gatoron browns, that I have on this keyboard, and they work fine. I feel like I would like the blue switches, but I can't envision myself like taking the time to replace the switches just for a different feel and sound if it already looks if it already sounds and feels good. So it's like, you know, these switches are fine. I don't have any problems with them, but the upside of hot swappable switches is that you can then replace the switches if they ever get, you know, broken, or if anything ever happens to them, you can reseat them. You can get more replacement switches. Keyboards come with replacement switches, you know, if they're hot swappable. So that's the upside, is like, you know, you can pay $140 for a keyboard that doesn't have hot swappable switches, or $140 for hot swappable keyboards. It's like, you know, you're not really paying more for hot swappable keyboards. Even like $70, $60 mechanical keyboards have hot swappable switches. So it's mechanical keyboards are kind of it's kind of easy to get lost in the sauce a little bit. I feel, because it's like there's always like something else coming out. You have to buy a lot to kind of understand, like, oh, this feels different from that. So you have to buy various keyboards or various switches and be like, oh, this, you know, brown feels like this, blues feel like that, reds feel like this, you know, unless you like go to a computer store and can try them out. So it's like, it's easy to kind of like, you know, get lost in there. And then people are like, oh, I customized my keyboard and like I like re-lubed the stabilizers and like, you know, put some custom keycaps that I got designed from like artisan keycaps over there on KBD Fads. And it's just like, bro, I'm just trying to type. Bro, I'm just trying hype. I just need to type. I need to type. I have things I wish to convey. Like, so like, yeah, I have O-rings to dampen them. It's like, there's so much you can do. And it's like, you don't really need to do all that for people who are, you know, just starting out. For I have O-rings on. I have O-rings to dampen the sound, and I have extra foam to make it quieter, and extra thick keycaps to make them louder. It's like, bro, why do you have extra thick keycaps and foam to make it quiet anyway? Yeah, there's a lot you could do with mechanical keyboards, and it's interesting to see what people come up with and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like, you know, it's such a practical purpose thing, a mechanical keyboard or a keyboard. So it's like, you don't have to worry about all that. If you're like just getting in fresh, you can just buy whatever mechanical keyboard, and it will feel better than whatever membrane keyboard you had previously. So it's like, that's the upside, is that any keyboard is a good keyboard by definition when compared to a normal keyboard. It's like, oh yeah, this is an improvement, even if it's a $40 keyboard, a $30 keyboard. Freeper says, to be honest, I think nobody cares about the feel in the mechanical community, but they do care about how it sounds. I could see that, maybe. I mean, but people always, I was gonna say people always, but I've heard this on different videos where they're like, no, the spacebar is scratchy, the enter button is scratchy. Maybe they mean the sound is scratchy, but I just assume that they mean like pressing it feels scratchy. So it feels like there is some like feel in there, but I do think you're right that it is like most people are just like they want it to sound thocky, they want it to sound loud, or they want it to sound deep or high, whatever they prefer. It's not even like an objectively good keyboard sound, it's just what they prefer. Anyway, I've keyboard stream later on this week. Keyboard stream later on. But yes, thank you very much for watching. It's been real. It's been fun. I've been SolarLune. We will keep working on this. I will have more stuff done, hopefully, next time. And we'll see. I'll see if I can have like my schedule, you know, up earlier. So maybe, you know, every week, not every week, every time I stream, I'll try to like put up the stream a day beforehand, so people kind of, you know, get a chance to like read on Twitter or Discord, or, you know, look at YouTube and see it. So we'll see. But I'll see you guys next time. Either today's Tuesday, either tomorrow or Friday. I'm not sure which. I have to see. But I'll catch you later. Thank you very much for stopping by, and it's been fun getting back into the groove of things. See ya.